Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and at this point in the story of Steven Universe, the cluster has been stopped. It has been bubbled and is currently not a threat to Earth. Yet the Diamonds are still unaware of this information and continue to stress the importance of the cluster's emergence, which oddly enough has been particularly emphasized by Yellow Diamond, who is incredibly suspicious right now. And you know, besides destroying the Earth, I question why the cluster's emergence is so important to them. Because think about it, the cluster is comprised of millions of gem shards. That's a lot of dead gems. This isn't exactly an easy weapon to produce. And if they do in fact want to produce another cluster in the future on another planet, they would probably have to suffer just as many losses as they did when it came to Earth. Because sure, they may shatter gems on Homeworld and have some shards laying around here and there, but not millions. That's something that took an entire millennia of gem versus gem combat to accomplish. So is the cluster just a one-use weapon that was only created by the Diamonds to destroy the Earth? Although I personally think that this is a stupid waste of time, I wouldn't put it past the Diamonds. I think that this is just petty enough for Yellow Diamond. Because for Homeworld, this is essentially just the greatest farewell possible for a planet that has only been an utter failure for them. But although this is the case now, I'm not so sure that this was always the intended purpose of the cluster. Now within the show, we do in fact have early prototypes of the cluster. These early prototypes being gem mutants. Now throughout the war for Earth, the crystal gems had no knowledge of these gem mutants. They did not know that they exist. And so these things were definitely created late in the game. And we at this point now know that Pink Diamond shattering was also late in the game. This was towards the end of the war. Now during the war and even before, gems were being shattered, but the creation of gem mutants seems like it began after the shattering of Pink Diamond. And to me, this seems like an act of desperation. They desperately aimed to bring Pink Diamond back and began experimenting with the vast amount of gem shards at their disposal during the war. And in theory, her revival does sound plausible considering there is still a level of slight consciousness within these gems. But honestly, in that regard, they're a total failure. And they probably couldn't even be utilized as proper weapons considering they can't tell friend from foe, because they're so broken that they seek out other gems to become whole once more. And you know what, based on this, I do believe that Homeworld has possession over Pink Diamond shards, so I don't think that that's gonna be in Rose's chest, which would be a weird thing to leave your kid, you know, the remains of your former enemy. Especially since it was made clear that Rose never wanted Steven to see this part of her life. But anyways, after realizing that this experimentation is just a total waste of time, they probably refuse to allow it to be all for nothing. And thus, the cluster, Homeworld ridding itself of this putrid planet in the most putrid way possible. With the story currently being in close proximity to the Diamonds, I'm really looking forward to more information on the cluster, and I hope this video was able to spark your interest in it too. Now, the initial concept for this theory was brought up to me by a viewer, and they go by Black Sheep Official, so shout out to them. But yeah, they came to me about the cluster being a sort of prototype for a new diamond, and that inspired this mentality. And I have not referenced someone else's theory outside of debunking them since like my first video, so this was pretty interesting. And of course, I'm not the kind to take a theory and do nothing different with it. And so if you do come at me with a theory and I happen to like it, that may be just because it inspires a new one, so don't expect me to just simply regurgitate information. But regardless of all of that, I do hope that you enjoyed the video, and quick little update on my whole sick situation, I am feeling a lot better, so thank you all for your kind words. And thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.